I'm going to go out today in my chair, and I'm also, keeping in mind how hot it is in the UK at the moment, going to be taking my brand new hydration pack with me. So what I'm going to do for you first is just show you how I intend to be holding it. Okay, so because obviously we're in a wheelchair, you need to make sure you've still got plenty of like movement and stuff like that. So there are two ways of doing it. I'm going to show you the way that I personally am not doing it first, and then I will show you the way that I am going to do it. I have chosen not to do it this way because this is the bit where you're going to need to get your water from, okay? And as you can see, there's not much like of a kind of tube for us to be able to actually reach it. You can, but you're constantly having to fight with it. Now, there might be some extensions, slightly bigger kind of pipes, etc. But for me, what I'm going to do is, well, first of all, I'll show you that this is with it on the back of your chair, okay? So that's going to mean that it's got further to go. Now, because I can do it this way, the way that I'm going to do it is actually by putting it directly on my back, okay? Now with this, obviously it is a bit of personal preference, and you may find that this isn't a suitable option for yourself because you might not have the same kind of mobility as what I do. Okay, so you just need to obviously make sure it's comfortable. Okay, make sure the straps are in the right place, etc, etc. Now obviously, like I say, this might not work for you because you might not have the same kind of movement as I do, and depending on your chair, but this is what I've done. And as you can see, it's directly on my back, hanging over the side, and then, as you can see, much longer, and you just, yeah, and then that's, make sure you shut it again properly, otherwise it's going to leak absolutely everywhere, and then we're ready to go. Alright, so just bear with me and we will get outside. I will see you there. So also please keep watching, because throughout the video I will give you tips, tricks, ideas, opinions on it, etc, etc. So please do keep watching, and I will see you in a mo. Oh yeah, so I'm outside now and just about to head off. So just to recap, I'm going to be using my hydration pack, and one thing to keep in mind to make sure that you don't get wet, which I just did, is by making sure that it is locked completely. So that's just by pushing it down. When you need to use it, you put it and then shut. So once you're done, push it back down, and then to make sure even more, so you can put the cap on. You don't necessarily need the cap because actually if you push it down far enough, it won't leak. Okay, now obviously this is dangling around, we don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do next is we're going to put it so that it's hooked away and we don't need to worry about it anymore. So there's one of two ways. You can either put it just on your lap and just keep an eye on it, or what I'm going to do is just pop it behind me on my chair so that it's not in my way, and then just take it as and when I need it. Alright, so like I say, I'm just going to head to the park, and we will then so now I'm going to show you how the system actually gets put together and how it works. Okay, so you have the two separate bits. You have the bladder and then obviously the bag. Now the bag itself is designed specifically to hold one of these. Okay, now these all do come ever so slightly differently. So for example, you've got this bit here, and this bit here is one of the bigger holes, whereas some of them are quite small holes. So with this one, if you wanted to, like I say, you could put ice in it, but be careful with that, because potentially, you know, you could damage this bit, because as you can see, it's quite flimsy, and you don't want any sharp edges catching it and making it leak, because that kind of defies the whole point of doing this. So yeah, that just unscrews. Did it tighter than I realised. And then to get the water in there, what I do is move it out of the way to make it a bit easier for us, especially if you have difficulty getting to perhaps your sink, your kitchen sink or whatever. So just grab a jug and then pour it in. Okay, so I'm just going to move back a little bit so you can see that a bit better, hopefully. Okay, so yeah, you just pour it in to the hole. What I did earlier was this is a 2 litre, and what I actually did, I did it as about 1.5 litres. So it's just enough for you to go out with. Obviously you can put more in there. I chose not to today because actually I knew I wasn't going to be out long, so I just wanted to try it out more than anything today. So then once you've got the water, just put this down here. So I've got both hands again. You just screw it back up again. Okay, now obviously, as I said to you, I actually screwed it up a lot tighter than I thought I had. But that's also not a bad thing, because it obviously means that there will be no leakages and everything like that. So now you've got that, and then you've got your tube, and then the mouthpiece attached. Now the mouthpiece, you can actually change those, but I have chosen to go with this one because it's going to be easier for us, and I would say it's probably easier for most wheelchair users, because although I had to stop really to have a drink, I could have probably managed it without stopping with it like this. But with the other one, it's what they call a tap valve, so this is a bite valve. Okay, so you're biting on it and then you suck, whereas the tap valve is just like that. It's like a little switch. So again, that could be a bit fiddly for people if they've not got great dexterity. But also with that, like I say, you would definitely have to stop. Even if once you got used to it, it would probably still be quite difficult for you to do it, because you need both hands to do it. Whereas this, once you get used to doing it, you can do it just with your one hand. Okay, so that's why I've gone for that one. But you can change the tips and actually kind of get the other one if you want to. In fact, the majority of the time, that tends to be the tap that you get, but you can obviously then change it if you decide to do it that way. Now I got mine as a set, so I got mine with the bag and the bladder, but you can also get the bladder separately, because obviously, you know, over time that potentially will wear. So rather than having to get all of it all over again, you can just get a brand new bladder. Alright, so again, if you're not getting on with that bladder specifically that you've got, you can look to get a better one or a different one for you. Okay, so now it's all about putting it in the bag. Okay, now in the bag, you have to get it so that The tube is still at the top. Okay, but there is a pouch where you can put the bladder. Okay, so you push that right down, but you need to make sure that the lead is out. Now, the other thing, which I'm not going to worry about now for the video, is you do have these bits of string to put into these holes, and then you can tie it up so that the bladder then doesn't move around. Okay, so you can do that one up, and you do the same on the other side. All right, then because you put it in a pouch like that, you've actually then got space where there is nothing in it, and so you can use it as a proper bag. So obviously it doesn't have much in there, but say you need to put your like keys in there, or your phone in there, or something like that, you know, or anything else for your disability, you know, medication or anything, that will all fit in there, and that's fine then. So that, you know, they can't fall out. So then the next bit, before we do it up properly, is you have to feed this through so that you can shut the zip without it being interfered with. Okay, so that's just gone through that gap there, and then that's sorted. So then you can get that, so that's zipped up. So I'm going to zip that one up. There is actually 2 zips. So what I'm actually going to do is, I was going to show you where I'm putting the Caribbean no, but I can't find it now. Oh, I've just found it. Now, because we're going to have it on our backs, for a bit of peace of mind to know that you're safe, what I've got is a carabiner, and then that attaches to the little loop at the back, you know, the one that we usually hang it up on or something with. I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to put it through the 2 zips, because then what will happen is that will then act as a lock. Okay, so now if someone tried to get into your bag without you noticing, that will now not go. All right, you might be able to open it a little bit, but actually it's a lot more fiddly and it will slow them down. Okay, so final bit before you're ready to go out is you've got some side sort of connectors on the straps where you can push it through. Okay, so you do that, and then also on the straps you've also got a D-ring, so potentially you could put another carabiner on there or something to like clip stuff onto it, for example. You know, if you wanted to clip this on so that it was moving around even less, but you wanted it to be kind of easy access, you can just clip that on to there. Okay, and then there's one on both sides as well, so that's actually also good, because it means if you want something on the other side, you can do that as well. But yeah, that is basically it, and then it looks like that on the back, and like I say, as you saw, I put mine directly on the back, and I was fine with it. I mean, it didn't take me long to get used to it, doing it that way, but again, potentially you can still do it on your on the actual chair itself, and in fact, if you were going to do that, you could take it out of that, which gives it a bit more flexibility, and so it might actually reach around a lot better for you, but again, that's your choice. Okay, So there, that's it. So just like as I say, in terms of that water, just make sure that you're putting enough in there, but maybe not too much so that it becomes too heavy for you. I use Kangen water, which is made by an ionizing machine. So it kind of it makes it so that it clears out any of the negative stuff, and ensures a decent kind of pH level that is healthy for you. Okay. Um, so yeah, it kind of it helps limit the rubbish in water, and ensures that you've got the goodness of the water. Okay. So if you want to know more about that one, obviously please let me know. And yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. And enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go and get a nice cold drink now, because of water, because that was rather warm out there. Okay, bye for now.